What up, everybody? Scuffy here. We are doing a recruit level video. This is in the recruit series. For those of you who are interested and or new to the game, the recruit level series is designed to go over highlight mechanics, features that are in the game, and give you some insight in there, as well as some understanding how to fight certain things, what's the best way to put them to use, whatever the case may be. So if you're a more experienced player, long-term player, this video is probably not for you. But if you know somebody who could benefit from this video, or you've got some friends who are interested in getting into the game, or who want to play Dark Angels, as we are about to do some Dark Angels recruit level stuff, have them check out the video. Recommend it, please. I'd appreciate that, and that's really what these are designed for, is to give some more information out there besides just hands-on play. So here we go. We're going to be talking about two things when it comes to Dark Angels. We're going to be talking about quests and wings. And the quests are a mechanic that is currently exclusive to the Dark Angels. What that is here is, it is a effect when you play a troop. You pick one of three options. There's three different things: either deal damage to the enemy warlord, destroy an enemy troop, or be targeted by an enemy tactic. If that condition is met, then the quest ability triggers. For instance, if Zarian Assault Squad is put into play, and I have my opponent, I say deal damage to the enemy warlord, and the enemy warlord attacks Zarian's squad, the quest goes off, and I get a copy of that troop back in my hand. It's as simple as that. That's how quests work. Now, they require some prediction on the opponent, and they don't always go off, but they are a little factor that can kind of change and sway the game depending on what your Dark Angels are doing. Wings are a thing all of themselves, and they're not necessarily a mechanic in the game. They're an identifier, much in the same way that you have infantry and Astartes and demons and vehicles. Amongst the Astartes, and well, actually just amongst the Dark Angels cards, because they have vehicles in here as well, you've got some troops that are identified by a wing. This one here, for instance, is a Raven Wing, while you've got Adravian Moors, who is a Death Wing. And there are some cards that interact with wing cards, as opposed to needing a troop with Astartes in play or a vehicle in play. You have some cards like Hunt Them Down, which gives flank to a Dark Angels troop, but if it is Raven Wing, the troop gains +2/+2. Or if you've got a troop like not the Seraphim Bikes, where they are Swift Wrath Speeders. It's a Raven Wing troop, but as a rally, if you control a Death Wing, you gain Cleave 2. You've got some cards like Astraville, who is a Dread Wing. That's the three different wings that are currently in the game, and that's the way they are. Doesn't do anything there specifically, but that's an identifier. And then if you combine that with a card like Onyx Saber, where if you control a Dreadwing, deal 3 additional damage. So, in general, the wings do 3 different things, typically. Number 1, the Raven Wing are very light, fast, and or flanking, with some vehicles that have flank or have a rally effect, generally. Most of the Deathwing are frontline troops. They're your beefy, they're your guys who are going to come in, they're going to protect your warlord. Many of them have quests, but most of them are just frontline bodies. And your Dreadwing are the much more, I can't say versatile, but they are more of the suppressive or board control style troops with abilities or quest effects that deal damage. Deal damage in mass, deal damage with effects or targets. Some of them deal damage with targeted effects or random. So that's really where they lie. Those are the kind of 3 avenues for wing troops. Now, there are some troops within the Dark Angels that are not wing troops. We're not going to be talking about those today. So, with that being said, I figure Lionel Johnson is a perfect example to demonstrate both quests and wings in practice, so you can kind of see how they work. So we're going to take him into account, because what he does is he allows you to create a troop from a wing. Right off the bat, we've got a quest troop. Let's go ahead and keep that. And let's see, first off, playing abilities, let's just go ahead and create a troop in hand, shall we? choose a wing. These are the 3 different wings here. Let's create a troop from the Death Wing, because they have quests on them. And then we'll go ahead and end the turn. Just getting to a point where I can play this troop that's got a quest on it. Increase those. Now, he gives bonuses to when wings are played. Let's go ahead and pick the Death Wing because we got the most of those. You'll notice that says 7 available. Always a good option. So here we've got this Death Wing that we created. He's now at 5/5. And any Death Wing that I play after that is going to gain that benefit from Mongor. Trying to get to a point here where we can get... See what? Here's a quest that I can give my Warlord. Let's see if we can complete a quest with a friendly troop 5 times, shall we? Let's go ahead and do... Quests are very tricky. They require some setup or at least some ability to predict your opponent. That's very important to know. For instance, we've got this one here. He's a frontline. He's a Deathwing. He doesn't have a quest on him. But if I've got a troop that has a quest, destroy an enemy troop, and I know that my opponent is going to be attacking with troops into that front line, that can become pretty effective. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's drop the costs. Good. Let's go ahead and... So here's his quest. I'm going to say if he is dealt, you target an enemy tactic. Let's see if that happens. You get that little animation, you get the little swords crossed. He's taking on his quest, his Oath of Moment. And if he is targeted by an attack, his quest will trigger. Doesn't look like he will. We'll see. Not going to happen. That's okay. We'll try it again. Right? Let's go ahead and deal damage to the enemy Warlord. And then we'll go ahead and put him out there, put him out there. Might make it a little bit easier the next time I have to play a quest troop. We'll see. He doesn't have quest. That would have been a good tactic for him to use. And here we go. His quest activates. You see that animation again. And then you can pull down and do it again. Let's go ahead and deal damage to the enemy Warlord. And we'll use him to create a different wing. No, let's keep the dead wing. Let's keep the death wing. I like that. We'll go ahead and attack. And then we'll do an angelic presence. Just to keep our guys around longer. Oh, I should have gone with the taken by a target. So you never know. You never know when you have quests if those are actually going to line up, if you're going to have things that work out for you or not. Yeah, we'll go ahead and play him. And if your opponent is a smart opponent, they know those 3 options that you can take as a Ravenwing player, or not Raven, as a Dark Angels player, then they have an understanding that, hey, you might be able to trigger this quest, and they try to play around it. Now, there's a Ravenwing. I've got 2 Deathwings out, so I'm going to gain the benefit of that. And this is just a good example of how the Dark Angels work together on top of that. Let's keep pumping out some more Deathwing. Why not? Heal and heal him up. We've shown a quest. We've shown what the wings do. We've shown how quest is picked and targeted. I think you kind of have the gist of it. Now, we're going to wrap this up, and we'll talk about what you can do when you're faced with an opponent who has wings and quests in their deck. Talking a little bit about what you can do. You're facing an opponent who's got wings, or they're playing Dark Angels, essentially, because they're going to have wings. First off, there's nothing you can do about them having wings. I'm going to make that pretty straightforward. It's any different like if you were playing an opponent who plays vehicles or demons or infantry. It is simply how they've built their deck. They will never lose this trait. If this troop is jammed, they still retain the Dreadwing trait. It's not going anywhere. It's always going to be what they have. So there's nothing you can do in regards to that. Although, what you can do, and this is important, is keep your eye open on what cards they're playing and what tactics they're using. For instance, with Lionel Johnson, every time he's creating a troop, there's an icon that displays a quick little flash animation that indicates what wing it is that he's building for. And that'll give you an idea. Is he building Ravenwing to flank? Is he building Deathwing for endgame frontline protection? Keep that in mind. That's something very important. If you're playing Nemiel, and Nemiel is dropping a lot of Ravenwing troops, then you can expect certain cards to show up, such as Hunt Them Down, such as the Mordwin Squad. Those guys can be very problematic. As they're Ravenwing, they can do damage as in conjunction with Nemiel's ability. Maybe you're faced off with Corswain. And Corswain is using a lot of Deathwing, but he's not using a whole lot of anything else. Well, then you know for the most part that you're going to want to be prepared for frontline. Maybe you're going up against Ferrith Redloss, and Ferrith Redloss has got a mix of troops. And you don't quite know what to expect. Do a quick plug for my Hexagrammaton Bomb Ferrith Redloss deck. Check that out. I'll put the link in the comments and description below. I think there's a video card tag popping up somewhere there. Check it out as a mix, but use something like this. This card giving you 3 different troops popping out for free at the end of the game can combo very significantly. It's really a way to keep your eye to see what your opponent is doing. What are they playing? What is their gambit? Are they going flank? Are they going big front lines? Are they going for damage dealing stuff? Now, when you're talking about quests, quest is very simply trying to out-anticipate your opponent, who might be trying to out-anticipate you. Zarian Squad's very simple. Early in the game, odds are very likely that they're going to go with deal damage to your enemy warlord. The same thing goes with Operator to Core. These are great starting turn troops. But if you destroy him with a tactic, you've thrown off his game. You outguessed him, and his quest won't trigger, and you'll be up ahead of the game. If you've got a opponent who's playing a bunch of quest troops, and maybe they're anticipating being able to deal damage to the enemy warlord, and you give them can't attack, or you just destroy them with a tactic, and they were anticipating you using like a flank troop or attacking with troops on the board. It really comes down to guessing and counter-guessing and outmaneuvering. So when you're playing a Dark Angels player and they have those quests out there, the best thing that you can do is ask yourself, if I was them, in the board that state that it is as of right now, what would I pick? How would I pick that? I'm going to play late game and I play a frontline troop that's got quest, and my opponent has very few cards in hand, and a warlord like Angron. It seems like a sure bet that deal damage to the enemy warlord is going to trigger the quest. But if I'm playing a warlord who has got a lot of cards in hand and they're a tactic heavy faction or warlord, it's very possible that they may be able to play a breach or an outflank or some other tactic on my Terminators, then maybe I want to check that pick to be targeted by an enemy tactic. You really have got to step outside the box and think what tools could be available to your opponent to make that selection for a quest, or to try to counter the quest. What are they thinking that you're doing? They think that you're going to destroy them. Do you have a flanker? Can you use the flanker to throw off their momentum? Or is it some kind of quest where you can generally allow for your opponent to trigger? For instance, Brother Titus has got a nice, crazy quest, right? Frontline of +2/+0. All right. Well, I mean, if he's got +2/+0 and he's got frontline, but you're a damage dealing warlord, who's got protection of your own via precognition or frontline of your own, maybe you can stomach him taking that quest. Or if you've got Venerable Oramus, who destroys a random enemy troop, but you don't have any enemy troops, you don't have to worry about this. So always take a look at what their quest effect is, and then ask yourself, what does my opponent think I'm going to do? And try to play around that. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that's been a little bit insightful, some ideas as far as what wings are, how they work, what quests are, how they work, how can you use them, and most importantly, how can you play against them, because that's really what it's all about. So I hope this recruit level video has been beneficial for you. If you found it interesting, please continue to check out the recruit level series as I add more stuff, and there's older stuff in the catalog just explaining other aspects of the game. And that is it from me, guys. Until next time, keep playing Legions, and we'll talk to you later.